we've seen some pics and some vids of you and Eugene and Israel and Alex Volkanovski as well. They've been regular attendees at matches. How cool has that been to share that journey with them?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Yeah, it's been really good to see them. I think just having their support means a lot. Like, more so my brother. I think, like, obviously he knows what I do now, and, you know, we're both, like, very, well, I certainly from my side, very proud of what he's achieved. But for him to see it, like, unfold in a World Cup, in a packed-out Eden Park with sold-out crowd, in the full atmosphere, everything, like, that's, for me, quite special, you know, because he's my big brother. We didn't always get along. You know, I spent large part of my life trying to prove myself to him and get his approval, you know. So it was really special to have him at the opening match and some of the other matches as well, for all the fighters to come, for them to be in and amongst it and enjoying it, like cheering on the team like every other fan. Like that was a super proud moment for me, yeah. Trying to remain humble but still be like, yeah, bro, check this out. Yeah.
But though I'm not sure I framed that well. For those listening who don't know, Sarai's brother is Eugene Bareman, the best MMA fighter in the world, Israel Adesanya's coach. Does it work the other way? Like, has he expressed those same sentiments when you've been at a big event of his?
You know what? September 10th, Sydney, after the final of the Women's World Cup, will be my first in-person UFC event.
Really?
I can't freaking wait. And they've got 6 fighters on the card. Israel's defending his belt. And that is my first ever one that I'm going to in person. Like, the stars have just aligned. It's happening at the right place at the right time. I'm on holiday. So, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to go to it. I can't wait to, be in the stadium and just be screaming for those fighters, and also not to be responsible for anything that's going on. You know, if I see some shit going down, it's not my problem. I'm just going to enjoy this.
Hey, Dana, where's my cushion, asshole? Where's my table?
I know. It's hard not to be, like, super judgmental when you've been in the FIFA world, because FIFA does it, like, everything is, like, on steroids, like, just the next level of, like, everything that they do. And it's hard, like, to go to other events and not be like, FIFA would never do that, and FIFA this and this and this. And sometimes I have to check myself and be like, no. This is the real world. Like, this is the real world. Not everything is FIFA. Not everything has FIFA budget. Yes. But, yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, that'll be awesome. And he's amazing. He's done some cool stuff.
Yeah, we're keen to dig around in that family background area. I love when we get super successful siblings on, because I'm just so interested in unpacking like what the magic was of the family foundation. And we were lucky; we had Eugene on the podcast a couple of years ago now, and just
early days, eh?
Yeah.
He was one of your first,
lockdown guests.
Yeah,
so many good nuggets of wisdom. But there's one thing I want to read out that he said, and I want to see if you had anything similar. He said, I had a really good system where I'd put a stopwatch on and I'd set it for 3 hours, and regardless of if I got my study done in an hour, I would work the 3 hours. I would stop the stopwatch if I got something to eat and restart it when I studied. I did that almost the entire year, and then I got an A bursary and I went to law school. Do you remember him doing that, or did you have anything similar?
Something I admire about Eugene, which I'm like the complete and total polar opposite, is his discipline and his ability to stick to a regime. And it's always been that way. He's always been so organised. Like, even his bedroom when we were young, you know, like, you would get the full wrath of him if you went in and moved one of his fucking Tente. Do you remember those Tente ships? Tente? They're like the Flash version of Lego from back in the day, and they had like the ships, like full battleships, warships, launchers, and he had like the full collection, and he would spend hours like building them, and they would all be lined up along the along the dresser. And of course, us other kids who are younger and not part of the special world obviously wanted to get in there and like freaking touch everything. And he used to absolutely lose his shit if you touched any of his like battleships or Tente toys or anything like that. So he's always been like super regimented, and I quite admire that about him. Like he was like that in rugby, he's like that when he was a fighter himself, just the way that he trained and committed himself to it. He's like that now as a coach. I think he feels it more than anyone, the results of the fights that his fighters have. Even from a freaking dieting, eating perspective, like he'll jump onto like a, I don't know, keto or something like that. And he'll do it from day dot, from the moment he says, I'm going to do it, and he'll freaking do it like 150% cleanly to the T with no like deviations or cheat days or anything. Like he's so, yeah, he's got iron will. I'm like the freaking opposite. Like I'll announce, okay, I'm doing keto today. By 3 p.m, I'm like burgers, fries, fucking munching out, being, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll start it tomorrow. Or I'm like, okay, I've got this project, I need to do it, it's due in 2 weeks' time or whatever. Put it off. The night before, I'll crack into it and do it. We're so opposite in that respect. Yeah.
Did you open the first city kickboxing bank account?
Yeah.
Is that true?
That's true. I was my first job out of school, like my first like serious job, was bank teller. They're called customer service officers these days, but essentially like doing withdrawals and deposits, counting cash.
Yeah.
And in those early days when he first set up the gym, you know, it was all new, he was getting started, and I took him and Doug Viney, his business partner, brought them into the bank and helped them fill out their forms and set up their account for them, got it all going. I remember actually back in those days thinking to myself, fuck, this is a big step. Like my brother is setting up his own business. Like this is a massive step. And I think what I love the most about seeing his success now is the journey that he's been on and how deserving he is of that success. Because a lot of people, they didn't see the struggle, and it was a fucking struggle. Like I'm telling you, there were moments where they weren't making enough in memberships to be able to cover the lease for the building. There were many times where the gym almost closed down because they couldn't stay afloat. You know, they were topping it up with their own funds. The amount of time that he spent away from his children and his family, like to dedicate to that business and to the fighters. And it was hard, man. It was freaking hard. And there were moments where, I know they were like close to losing it all. So to see it now and know the journey he's been on, I think that's what makes me the most proud, you know, that he persevered, he went through everything, he fucking gave everything, and he deserves the success more than anyone.
This might be the coolest story in New Zealand sport. I'm just thinking as you're telling it, you were a bank teller who opened a bank for Eugene to start his business, both with nothing, right at the bottom of the totem pole. Yeah. And now you run World Women's Football, and he is the best MMA coach in the world. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. What are the family foundations to support that success? Because it's not just you two. I think your two other brothers are very successful in their own right as well.
Absolutely.
So what was that household? What were the pillars of that household that allowed you guys as a family to all succeed?
I'm going to say sport played a massive part in it. Like from a very, very young age, we were all really involved in sports. We did athletics at the athletics club, you know, every week, all of us from age 5 all the way through to, you know, 10, 11, 12. We all played rugby. So sport, and this is something I only recognise now as an adult in the job that I'm doing, the values that sport instills in you as a kid like how to lose graciously, how to celebrate wins together, how to be a team player, the fact that other people are counting on you to show up, you're accountable to others. I think having such a presence in sport was massive, but also just our upbringing. Like, I think we had such a solid family upbringing. Like, my dad has got this incredible work ethic that he instilled in us from super young. He's Dutch, so he also taught us a lot about, you know, looking after money, not fucking going nuts with everything, you know, and that was something really like, yeah, the practicalities of life and like just rolling your sleeves up and getting on with it and having a strong work ethic was like something he taught us from super young. And then my mum is, she's very religious. So she instilled in us, you know, those values that come with being, you know, strong Christian. And I think it was just the combination of those. And just, I mean, we were all equal, all of us, you know. There was no one that was above anyone else, and it's still the same today. I mean, now when we're all in the country, every Sunday it's family dinner at mum's. You show up or you're in trouble. You ask permission to leave the table.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, everyone has to bring a plate. Everyone has to contribute. Everyone has to have their turn at washing the dishes after. If you don't, you get a whole bunch of shit. Like, the moment that you walk in that door, it doesn't matter if you're the best MMA coach in the world or in charge of the Women's World Cup. You're not anyone when you walk across that mantle at mum's. You're the same as everyone, you know, and I think that's also something that has kept us very grounded. Yeah.
What's the knowledge share like with you and Eugene? Like, do you guys talk about your high-level jobs and do you share stuff that's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, we do. There's a few times I've had to, like, go to him for advice and just, it's just I don't know, it's kind of weird because I guess, in those conversations we are talking about quite massive stuff, but it kind of feels like just like a normal, like, convo. Yeah. Like, one of the things we talked about in the build-up to this World Cup was dealing with New Zealand rugby and the All Blacks. Because I know that during COVID, like, Huge was in some battles around, like, what do you call that? MIQ, that kind of stuff, and the disparity between what the All Blacks were getting and some of the fighters and this and that. And there were some issues there as well with branding or something. I can't remember what it was. And then in the build up to this Women's World Cup, we had to negotiate also with the New Zealand Rugby Union and the All Blacks around the matches that they have planned in the build up to their World Cup and ensuring that they didn't overshadow what we were doing with the Women's World Cup. And FIFA being FIFA, you know, we've got all these like really stringent exclusive use periods and stuff like that. And the All Blacks, they rule the roost here. You know, the New Zealand Rugby Union are used to getting what they want. So I remember having a good yarn to him about that and talking about, you know, how do you deal with that, you know, when it's such an entrenched culture in this country. Because I know he battled that, so it was good to get his advice on that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's weird because it just feels like normal convos. But yeah, I guess when you think about it, it is like.
I love the thought of you doing that at your mum Helen's house while you're like he's scrubbing the plates, passing it over to you to like dry the dishes, and you're like, yeah. So what you got to do in this situation?
So what are you thinking you'll do with African football, Sarai?
I got to speak a truth here. I did say it doesn't matter who you are, you still have to help with the cleaning up. Eugene has never, once, ever,
preach,
fucking done the dishes after dinner. I never ever have seen him ever do the dishes to this day.
And that's an MMA level call out. That's a UFC call out.
Shots fired.
No, but seriously, that's a freaking extreme double standard. Yeah. He just doesn't. And it's at the point where my mum just doesn't even bother asking him. Like, it's just like a given now. But that's like maximum level of unfairness, and I'm calling bullshit.
I'm glad someone finally had the balls to call him on his shit.
Yeah. About time.